Okay, okay. Welcome everybody. It's good to have you here tonight at the webinar Open Day. Very different from what we are used to. Usually we're in the building meeting and greeting you in person. Unfortunately, as everybody is aware, this will be impossible this year, so we're doing an online session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please write them down and ask them at the end. We have a Q&A session at the end. You can also, if you wish, type text in the chat box. We'll try to answer them also towards the end. So let's see, there's three of us here today. There's me, I'm the middle person, Jaap Geurts. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for the past 4 years. I teach embedded systems. That's what you're here for. I'm mostly active in the first and the second year. I have a long history of software development. I've worked in Europe. I've worked in Asia, and yeah, recently joined education, which I find very interesting. There's Renata is here. She will also introduce herself.
Okay, hi, my name is Renata. I'm also teaching ICT and technology for about 6 years. Before that, I did about 15 years of software development for different companies, but also for embedded systems. What I also do is do some research on IoT and smart infrastructure, smart cities, and these kind of things. And I coach a lot of graduate students, so that's our core activities. Okay.
Okay, and the next person who is joining us is a student. It's Martin. He's currently in his third semester, so he will also introduce himself.
Yeah, so I originally came to Fontis in September of 2019. The original profile that I actually had signed was software, but I decided to switch to technology, and that's what I kind of try to convince some of you to do as well. So I have very little experience to any sort of technology, or also very little programming experience before I came to Fontis. But right now I feel that I have a very solid groundwork of what I need to know. And I've really learned a lot in Fontis. And yeah, today we'll be talking about that.
All right, thank you. So we have divided up the presentation in small sections. We're working on a welcome right now, first 5 minutes. After that, we'll give a general introduction about Fontis and Fontis ICT. After that, about 20 minutes, we'll talk a bit more in depth about embedded systems, in which we'll explain to you what you can expect, what kind of things you'll learn, what the program looks like, and that. And then at the end, there's a Q&A session of about 15 minutes, and with the 5 minutes, thank you. And maybe if we run late a little bit, we have a little bit of time to spare. All right. One more thing, I have to apologize. My voice, I have a problem with my voice. I've got a small cold, so hopefully you can understand me, and otherwise Renata will help me out. Okay, thank you, Renata.
Okay, so this is actually, I think, my part. So what are we talking about? First, some small introduction to our school. Maybe you already heard something about it, but maybe it's completely new. But as you are looking now at the education of ICT, of course we are ICT and technology, but we are ICT school. There is something very specific about this education, and it's that this education is quite difficult to have it the same every year, because everything around us is changing. And especially ICT is changing extremely quickly, and the developments are huge. So somehow at our school we try to tackle this problem. Yeah, we'll show you a few of examples of how the technology and ICT is actually changing, and some smart. So the first example I really like about this example, actually all of them, if they are not ours, we took them over, but all of them have a piece of technology inside. So the first one, what you see is actually, self-driving car, which is the future. And self-driving car or actually any other car, is a system of extremely lot of embedded systems which are working together. So there is a lot of ICT and technology. I once heard it's about 500 embedded systems in a moderate car, which are working together, and that we are not talking about self-driving yet. So that's a very nice example of technology which is developing very quickly. Jaap, can you put the next one? Now, this is some sort of sensorics for the brain, from which you can measure some brain signals. But what's nice about it is that you can also use it to control systems. So, for example, some of our students use this kind of tools to move the car or so. So it's very, very interesting. So probably, maybe you've never seen it before, but this again is one very nice example of what technology and new technology do. Please, next one. This is the example of augmented reality. So when it's also, I had a lot of students which already work with it, and it's some sort of application between software and technology. So both software is very important here, but technology too, because you need the sensors, you need the vision, you need to be able to detect some sort of objects, and so there's also a lot of technology actually. Yeah, please, next one. And this is, I guess, obvious. So there is some sort of chip, some biochip, which will maybe detect something. I never seen something like this before. It's sort of a contact lens, I think, with a chip. But of course, there is a lot of functionality in that. And just put it back, because this is actually my favorite one, and that's the Pepper robot, which we have at our school. And we have also a lot of Now robots, which are the small brothers of this one. And this is something what we really do quite a lot. And again, one of the regions which is extremely quickly changing, and with which we so what we actually do at school, we try to tackle this problem, and we try to how to learn new methodology, new techniques, because when you go to future, probably what you learned at school, it won't be so topical anymore, because it changes so extremely quickly. I think a lot of technology changed in the 6 years that I work or at school already. So we try to teach you how to tackle the new stuff, how to learn new stuff, and that's what this talk is about. So you can go further. So I think this was for you.
Yeah, thank you, Renata. Yes, so I'll explain a little bit about our study program and what we offer here in Eindhoven. When you arrive, we have actually three different ways of three different program models of education. The middle one is actually for you, because that's in English. But later on, I'll explain that you can actually choose a different version of your program as well. So if you start studying here, what you'll study, what you come for, is a 4-year bachelor degree. We have that both in international and in Dutch. The course-based version is in English. So for you, the one is in English. It's a 4-year program, which I'll give you some more details later. Here. Excuse me. Here they come. If you look at the programs that we offer, we actually have quite a lot of different specializations and paths that you can follow. If we look at all the different profiles that we have, there's ICT and infrastructure, which is a little bit about networking and large-scale cloud systems. There's ICT and business, which focuses a bit more on the business side of ICT. There's ICT and media design, which touches on media design. ICT and technology, which is where you're following the session today. Then there's a cybersecurity, with them focus more on secure software. Software engineering, which is a general software engineering program. There's the smart mobile, where you focus a lot more on mobile application development. There's education, which I think is only in Dutch. Then there's ICT and applied data science, where we look at large-scale data warehousing and understanding and getting information out of large data systems. Artificial intelligence, and that should speak for itself, I think, everybody knows. Game design and technology, yeah, and you can actually set up your own personal path. So when you study here, at the beginning, you study your first couple of semesters where everybody gets the same foundation courses and foundation topics. Then you, after about a semester, you'll choose your final program. Let's say you choose ICT and technology, which we, of course, we hope. Then you can still choose like a minor or a specialization in any one of these specializations. Now, let's have a look. The first year when you come here, you'll actually, for the first for the first semester, first 20 weeks, you will get 5 different angles of software development. There's in the middle, there's a software engineering, where the focus will be a lot on programming. And then there's infrastructure, where the focus is on networks, business, where you learn about communication and how companies operate. There's media design, where you do graphics design for ICT solutions, and of course technology, where we'll work on building embedded systems. Let's go on. And then from the second year onwards, no, sorry, this one is, let's see. Oh yeah, no, I need to go here. Let me do that at the next slide, sorry. So the first year, what we have in Holland is we have a system whereby the first year is like kind of a special year where you get a special certificate. It's called a propedeutiek year. And that just shows that you're able to complete the whole 4 years. And in that first year, we have divided that in 2 halves. The first half is a general half where you get to meet all the 5 different profiles that I just mentioned. And then in the second half of the first year, second semester, you make a choice. And that choice is hopefully technology. So even if you really love technology, we're very happy to have you, of course. But maybe you think that technology is interesting for me, but I'm not quite sure yet whether I want to do technology or infrastructure. You still have a choice after half year. So we look at the rest of the program. There's the main study program at second, third, and fourth year. In the third semester, there's a more foundation of the main study program. Then in semester 4, you do one of your specializations. And then after the second year, at the beginning of the third year, you'll go on an internship. And this is where you actually go to a real company and do a project there under the guidance of a company mentor. If you've completed that successfully, you'll go on to do 2 more semesters of studying at a university, the main program that you were studying before, and a minor in semester 7. And finally, at the end, in semester 8, there's another graduation project, which again is at a company. It's of course a bit more difficult than an internship, and then you'll prove that you're worthy of a bachelor diploma. You can do these graduations and internships in Holland, of course, but we have also lots of students who do this abroad. So there's lots of open and lots of possibilities there for your study program.
Also minor kind of.
Excuse me?
Also minor.
Yes, that's right, yes. Yeah,
for me, it is just there are a few things that we want to show you, which we think our school is really special about. And I think the first one, if you turn the slide, is actually what Jan was already talking about. Go back, please, one. Yes, and that's that we actually like to give you a choice at the beginning and to have a little bit of taste of all these different profiles. Also, these 5 profiles we were talking about. So once you come to the school, yeah, you can try all of them, and maybe some of the students count that they definitely want to do software or technology or something else, and then once they did this first part, they change their mind. So it's really good to get this orientation. So we also call it orientation semester. Yes, please turn the next one. The way we do our school is maybe probably pretty different that you are used from home. So we don't have these very classical classrooms anymore, and a lot of theory, a lot of books, but we are very much based on projects and on the real life problems. Because as I told you already, we are trying to teach you the 21st century skills, the way how to learn new things, and also to be very close to the companies and that companies are doing. So we also try to do it in a way that we coach you very individually, because everybody is different, everybody likes also something else, and many times you can also choose your own project, something you really like, because we think once you do something that you like, you are getting enthusiastic about it and you learn that too. So next to the compulsory stuff, there is a lot of stuff that you can choose. Now, how we work, we usually have 2 half days as you can read it, from morning in afternoon. The teacher is actually many times only a coach. So, for example, we don't have exams. Surprising for you, but we do believe that it's much better to learn all the time, to learn the whole semester, and not somewhere at the end just to do some exams. But what you do, you are going to do your assignments. We are going to check your assignments and to talk about it, to coach you with those assignments. You will get feedback. So we will work through the whole semester, and at the end, yeah, it will be through feedback very easy for you to find out whether you pass or not. But I would like to ask Martin about his experience, because he is one of the first students which are going through this new system, because the system is only 1.5 years, now it's a second year. So how do you experience working at school?
Well, to be honest, I think that this system allows for a lot of freedom at the same time with a lot of important material that is taught to you. So I find very often that I have questions about something that was explained to us by a teacher or our coach, and our coach, I can always very easily find them, and I can always get access to them and communicate with them my issues, my problems, my questions. And so this allows me to very easily get the answers that I need. So this system is vastly different from what I was used to back in my home country. And that is why you have the first semester, so that to sort of get used to it. And after that, it becomes very natural, and it allows you to incorporate it into your workflow, to work much more efficiently, to learn faster, to do assignments faster. Additionally, as Mr. Nara mentioned, there are no exams, so this takes a lot of stress off of you. And it allows you to focus more on learning for yourself instead of just learning for an exam, instead of just learning for a test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I read from, okay, so we go on. I read here something about technology program. We are coming to this anyway, so I will go quite quickly through this one. This is actually a picture from our school. So you can see also, as I told you, we don't have really typical classrooms anymore, but our environment is pretty close to some sort of company that you are working, because we also try to work as in companies, so you get used to that project work. So this is actually a picture from our school. Maybe can you put the next one? This is our new building that we just got in September, and and we are using that also now with COVID. And as you can see, there is a lot of space. So yeah, we do also do some physical education on site, especially the first year. I think they get 3 days a week or so. Yeah, on site. I don't know.
Yeah, I think minimum 3.
So that's really nice. So and yeah, it's just really very nice design stuff. Then the next thing is yes, of course, we work with a lot of companies, and yeah, you can see them, and the companies still want to come to us and to work with us together. Maybe for the technology, yeah, there is so many of them, so I can't point it to you, but of course you recognize Philips. The ProDrive is a huge company which does a lot with technology, so they do build their own stuff. Then we have Sogeti, we have Atos, which is also do of the technology, ICT technology stuff. We have Remoticom doing a lot of IoT stuff with us. So there is really a lot of companies, and we didn't tell it yet to you, but for example, every semester, I think from the second one, has a company partner. So we also do project with company, but maybe we will talk about this when we come to the embedded systems themselves. So can you please turn the next one? Yes, and we are very proud that we got award as excellent education, which is really very high, and it's especially because of this approach that we are using that I just explained to you, that we are coaching students very individually, and yeah, that's it. So I think it's the last one. Oh yeah, there are some links that you can follow. So yes, if you want to know more information. And I think we are going to go now to the embedded and technology program, because that's what we are here for. Okay, so I think this one was for Jaap. If you're still here, Jaap, you are muted.
Yes, I am here. Sorry, I had to find my mute button after switching all the windows. All right, let's get back. So let's zoom in a little bit more on the embedded systems or the technology program within ICT, and explain you the things that you can expect. Now, first off, why would you actually choose embedded systems? Because it's a great profession, of course, but I think one of the interesting things about embedded systems is that it's multidisciplinary. It's a big word for meaning that you work together with lots of different people that have other professions. So when you work on, as you can imagine, if you work on that self-driving car, you can imagine that you have to talk to people who actually control the engine, or you have to talk to people who write the AI software. So yeah, you'll work with people who study physics. You'll work with people who study software engineers or mathematicians. Maybe werktuigbouwkunde. What is that? Mechanical engineering. So once you're on the job, you'll have to talk to a lot of different people, and you'll learn an awful lot about all these different fields. Very interesting. You play a key role in device development. Whenever a new device is hitting the market, you are I'll explain that next. When you're writing the software that sits in the middle between everything, you're a centerpiece. There are excellent job opportunities. There's a huge shortage of embedded systems developers. There's no shortage on finding jobs easy. And last but not least, it's also a challenging study, but I think that's a very interesting thing, because once you've graduated, you can actually pat yourself a little bit on the back. I've done an awesome job mastering this skill, really. You can be proud of yourself when you graduated. So yeah, so when you study here, you play a key role, as I mentioned, in all these things, like the self-driving car here. If we look at it. And there's this electrical engineer here that sits, maybe designs the car electronics and the control systems, the motors and the sensors. And then there's these people who write the AI to try to avoid other cars and people on pedestrians on the street. And somehow these two need to come together. So these artificial intelligence people are working at a higher level. They just want to talk about car or person and avoid go left, go right. But at a lower level, your car, that needs to be translated into a certain amount of going left or a certain amount of going right. And that's where embedded software engineers come in. So your central role in this whole process of developing machines and devices. Let's have a look at the that's why you would want to study it. Let's have a look at the detailed program of what you will study when you come here. Yes.
There we go. So I'm going to talk to you about a little bit more in depth about what the program is. So in the first year, in the first semester rather, you have the orientation phase. So you have all of these 5 different specializations, I suppose, that you can you're learning all of these. So 5 days a week, 5 different specializations. It works out. So you go through all of these, and this is the phase that really allows you to decide what you want to do. Because just as Ms. Renata mentioned, I myself actually signed up for ICT and software engineering when I went to Fontis first, but I then decided to switch to technology. I'll go a little bit more in depth about that a second later. And then the second part of semester 1, it's much shorter. I think it's about 8 weeks. Then you will start to be a little bit more specialized into the subject that you chose. In my case, that was technology. Then you have a small project that you can work on. This is your first sort of really focused in project that you regarding the specialization that you chose. In semester 2, you will learn, you have a few, these are your subjects essentially, what are listed. You can see here in the yellow box, you have 4 subjects. The first one is embedded systems. Then you learn how microcontrollers function, how code gets compiled onto them, what their components are. You also learn a little bit of basic electrical concepts, which is very useful for not blowing your microcontrollers up. You also learn some object-oriented programming in C#. So while this is more of a software engineering part, it is also very important to learn in technology because it allows you to structure your code in ways that are just much more readable. And that's why your third subject is structured programming in C. Here you'll learn how to make programs for low-level C. And finally, your last subject is your industry project. Here you work with an outside company, one of the 120 partner companies that you saw that work with Fontis. You make a project for them. In semester 3, which is where I am right now, you have, again, these are the project these are your subject that you have listed here. Communication, this explores all the different communication protocols that are related to embedded systems, from UART to I2C, I2S. You have CAN bus, you have many different parallel. So this one is really important. It's probably my favorite. Next up, you have software development. This is, again, like the semester 2, this is more structured programming in C. This is low-level programming, and I personally find it really fun. Then you have embedded systems. Now we've kind of moved away from electrical concepts, and we're starting to delve in more into how the microcontroller functions. And in this subject, we fiddle more with the hardware directly instead of going through software abstractions. And then finally, you have your project. In semester 4, it's your specialization. You have a choice of 8. Jaap explained them a bit earlier. So this is the next step in my learning process. After that, in semester 5, I will have an internship. And in semester 8, we'll have my graduation. In semester 6 and 7, this is sort of a remnant of this study program not being quite developed yet. So semester 6 and 7 are yet to be decided for 2 reasons. The main reason is that this field, like Ms. Renata mentioned, is very, very quickly changing. So if what will be learned in semester 6 and 7 is decided today, it might not be relevant when semester 6 and 7 actually roll around. So yes, this is still yet to be decided. So how do you join the Fontis team? So there are in Fontis, you are going to find people of every nation, every ethnicity, every religion. The largest factions you will find are, there's a lot of people from Eastern Europe, Bulgaria and Romania. However, I have also personally met with people from all over every single continent. I have a few friends who actually from the Caribbean. There's people from America, from the UK. And this really allows you to sort of get a different perspective on how technology influences different countries and different people. And not just technology, actually, for all the subjects. And this also ensures that you are prepared to work anywhere. This allows you, if you're particularly interested in doing your internship, let's say in Japan, then I can assure you, you will be able to find someone from that country in Fontis, and you can talk to them about culture and how to integrate yourself better. So in the orientation phase, you're going to be working a lot with these two. So on the left, you have an Arduino Uno, which is a very popular microcontroller. And on the right, you have something called the OpenSmart Rich Shield, which is just a collection of buttons, LEDs, sensors. So the shield that you see on the right just plugs directly into the board. And this allows you to just very easily and directly make some simple programs that use these devices that you see. This was actually really fun for me because it allowed me to really go hands-on. And this is the reason that I ultimately decided to go with technology, and this is why I think you should too. Because, for example, in software, you write your code, you hit compile, and who knows what happens. But in technology, the beauty of it is that you can write your software and you can actually physically interact with your microcontroller. You can interact with buttons you've connected, and you can see what's happening. You can visualize it. So some example software that you can develop for this. In the first semester, we developed a calculator, a very simple calculator. You have some digits. You can perform some simple operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Additionally, we had a safe. So the safe, you just had, perhaps if I can go on the previous slide, you can see these 4 digits that are on the shield. You can use those in order to make a safe combination, and then you can use the 2 buttons to enter that combination. And you can have different things happening depending if it was correct or if it was false. And I believe in the current semester 1, there is a project about a car dashboard, which uses a lot more of the sensors that you can see on this Rich Shield. And it actually utilizes almost every single one. And you have a lot of creativity that you can put into these. There's different ways to do things, and additionally, there's also, if you want to get a slightly higher performance, you can also do things that are not specifically listed in the assignment, things that you have thought about yourself. So yeah. In semester 2, you're going to be learning a little bit more. So now we're starting to move away from that shield. Now you're going to actually start wiring things yourself. So I guess I have a quick example here that I can show you. This is just a robot that we're working on right now. This is my project. And you can start connecting wires. And again, this is just so much more interactive than any of the other specializations, because you can connect the wires, you can see what's happening, you can diagnose what's wrong. So here you learn about communication protocols, you learn some more C# oriented programming, you also learn some low-level programming in C. And as I said, the basic electrical concepts, which are really important for this specialization. Everything is taught in a way that it's very accessible for everyone, and always if you have questions, you can just ask your coach. Moving on, semester 3. So yeah, this is just the robot that I just showed you. Additionally, you also learn some communication protocols, so over the wire. And you also learn some software design. And yeah, so now Renata will continue with the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And maybe it's also just good to say that many students which choose for technology, they say, actually, I like technology because I like to program something I can really feel in my hands. So like it was already talking about the robot and so. So if you really like to touch these things and then do something and see really moving, like this robot, and then it's just nice to be at technology. Just go back one for the 6th semester, please. So you said actually that semester 6 and 7 are not completely finished yet, but I'm showing you what's there now for semester 6 and 7. Semester 6 is actually, you can put one more further, please. It's about professional software engineering. So you already learned to program in C, C++, but now you are also going to do it in much more professional ways. So you are going to learn a lot about projects, about how it works in company, how you can store your data and these kind of things. But you also learned, again, a lot about embedded systems, about writing device drivers, and about doing research, because that's preparation actually for your final phase. Okay, can you please, the next one, please? And then we have minors. As Jaap already told you, that's the 7th semester, and you can choose whatever minor you want. So you can also go abroad and do what you like. But I think about at least half, and I think even more than half of technology students choose actually finally for the embedded systems and robotica minor. And there are also a lot of software students doing this one. If you can just put one more. What they do, there are actually the 3 very important topics. And I think they also will remain in the minor for the next years. And the first one is, of course, robotics. So they learn how to program small robots like this now, what you see on the picture, or just a robot arm or something else. But also they take part in a RoboCup project. So you can, if you look at the left, those robots are actually used for RoboCup, and this is the team from, I think, from Technical University Eindhoven. There is also a few of our students taking part, and we also have a Fontis team for RoboCup. And there is so much software to be written for that. So you can also choose this topic for minor. And the last but not least are the sensor networks, which are very low energy networks that are used, for example, for smart cities and I don't know, smart infrastructure and just collecting data everywhere, or domotica. So you can also use that. You can choose that topic too. And computer vision is also extremely important, also detecting objects. And that's about semester 7, which you can choose if you want to do also with technology. Okay, that was, I think, then I don't know, Jaap, if you have some video still, but
yeah, I think we have enough time to do both of the videos.
No.
You want to do both of them?
No, I think we are on time now, right? So I hope that you are going to ask a lot of questions.
We can do your video if you want.
Yeah, I can try it. So what I actually today, I just compiled a video of the projects which we are doing with the students from different countries also from different schools. And it was about applying Internet of Things to different stuff. So I will try to run it. I hope I can share the screen. So please, okay. So I will just put the whole screen and I hope I can find it. Okay, so yeah, we can take over my screen. That was just an example of yeah, few. I had many more of them. I just had to pick up a few of what our students are doing, and I can tell you they had a lot of fun and yeah, and they had a lot of stuff also. So nice things to play with. Okay, so I think now Jaap, is time for questions. Yes.
So if you do have a question, you're free to either raise your hand, or if no one's speaking, you can just speak up directly. If you there's someone asking, maybe Renate, you can help me out. My voice is someone's asking if we need prior knowledge to start studying.
Well, I guess the secondary school, I guess, and maybe some affinity with yeah, with ICT a little bit, but I think you don't need really a lot stuff. I think you learn everything from the beginning. Am I right, Martin?
Yes, pretty much the only thing I knew that when I went into Fontes was just some extremely basic programming concepts that I literally took in a course that was about a 10-minute video, and that was more than enough, to be honest. There's absolutely nothing that isn't taught to you at the very basic level. You don't need any knowledge coming in, and the coaches will adapt to your learning level and make sure that you know what you need to know.
Yeah. So I think yes, what Jaap is telling. Yeah, thank you, Martin. That's about it. That yeah, just some affinity with science anyway. So that's but you will learn everything from yeah, from the beginning.
Maybe Leo, perhaps it might be interesting for them to know a little bit about student housing, or maybe they already know, I'm not sure, but.
Yes, I can say a few things about that. When you want to be a student at Fontes, yeah, as what you already have discussed, you need to have a correct secondary school certificate, depending on the country where you're coming from. But all these requirements are explained on our website, fontes.edu/ICT. So there you can find these requirements. Indeed, application is one, but finding accommodation is also very important, of course. And Fontes will help you with that for the first academic year. But you have to ask us for it. And normally you do it during the application procedure. You also ask us to help you finding accommodation. And normally it's no problem.
I see a question just came in from Dennis. He said, will we learn Java?
I can answer that.
Yes.
If you stay with technology, probably not. But it's a very direct answer, because you are going to learn C#, you are going to learn C and C++. That actually means that yeah, that the step to Java is almost null. If you really want to learn only Java, if you really are very crazy about that, then I think software people are doing Java in the third year or so, I don't know.
That's correct.
And I think you'll get the basics. Please correct me if I'm wrong, yeah.
Yes.
You will get the basics of databases and SQL.
That's correct, in semester
We are not going to use it a lot with technology later on, but it's just a good basics to know. So you never know, but as Jaap already say, we are multidisciplinary. So it's good to know also other stuff. And I also seen a lot of projects of the students where they use database and SQL anyway, also with technology. So, but it's not the basics from technology.
I personally, my opinion is if you've learned the basics of embedded systems, such as C, C++, and other things, Java will be like peanuts for you.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's just piece of cake, Java. And actually C# and Java are extremely similar, because C# was, I think, yeah, based on Java.
Any more questions? Feel free.
So if you are afraid to ask, please type at least your question. Okay, the web services. So actually, in semester 3, we are going to just touch a little bit about web services, about the REST architecture, and because it's very much connected to IoT also technologies. But if you really want to know a lot about web services, and if you want to have it as your specialization, you can better do software.
So if there are no more questions, I already put a message in the chat that students can always send their questions later, and then we will answer them by email. Let me first thank you, Jaap,
Yes.
Renata, and Martin for your great work, for your nice webinar. I think it was very informative.